least a fresh battery to be with you, or at least a portable charging unit so you can get in there. Main thing is just get in the room, get the phone with you, take a flashlight, and then stay in that room until the all clear is given. So at this point, very intense, likely large hail along Interstate 27. Here's the community of Ferguson, by the way. Here's Farm to Market Road 400 reaching up to just east of Plainview. This is the Plainview area. So again, the danger part of this storm, I'm just going to give you a broad view right here so you have an indication of where that is located. The storm reaches all the way back, looks like to around Farm to Market Road 1424. Track on that has been northeast. It appears to be in typical fashion, maybe turning a little bit more east, and it may even veer a little bit southeast. But right now, polygon indicates the movement of this storm and east and northeast at about 30 miles an hour. And again, some very heavy rainfall moving along Farm to Market Road 400. So there's your locations there. And we can even zoom in a little bit there. Matt Ernst is on radar at this point, and he may be jumping in as soon as he finds out some more data on where the storm may be located or where the potential tornado is located. But we had a report, at least through National Weather Service chat,
John,
of a tornado on the ground. Matt?
Yeah, and we can take a little bit closer look right here to show that the thunderstorm itself, as far as where the greatest rotation is, the initial report here that came in actually from one of the researchers at Texas Tech observed the tornado on the ground he said it was quite brief, but what we're looking at here on radar is the greens and the reds coming together, showing the rotation. And if there is at least some good news, we always want to alleviate concerns if we can, is that I don't see nearly the same velocity couplet where the greens and reds were really coming together right here. I'm not seeing as tight of a rotation on the last couple of scans. The report here from the trained weather spotter, and actually a very good tornado researcher, would trust him on anything, was that it was a brief spin up. So this is the radar at about 8 minutes ago, and we had a bit better organization on the radar signature. That's not to say that this storm could not produce a tornado again, but the tornado report was a brief spin up, and based on what we're seeing here on radar, that would put it just a few miles southwest of Plainview, just outside of town. And we'll try to see if we can get, someone could relay to Julio to put his signal back up, because he's just south of town. But the good news, and again, the warning is still in place right here. We don't want to say that you don't need to take shelter, but the good news is at least radar right now showing that the rotation may have weakened just a bit, but we still have the concern for the hail and potential, again, tornadic development on this thunderstorm as it moves into Plainview. So that's why we need to, continue those precautions, John, like you mentioned just a few minutes ago. And again, as far as we do not have any additional reports over the last couple of minutes of this thunderstorm producing another tornado, but this is still a storm that we definitely need to take seriously. And let me check a couple more updates right here. That tornado warning continues here. That goes until, was issued until 5 o'clock here. Actually, 5 o'clock. And the storm itself is moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So that's the latest update as far as the ground reports we have on the thunderstorm. And also our Craig Iglesias is headed up that direction. Also, you may be noticing at the bottom of your screen that Swisher County is included in the tornado warning. The red box you see for Swisher County, that is not the storm between Cress and Tulia. So if you're just north of Cress and you have a severe storm rolling through, you see that at the bottom of the screen showing that you've got a tornado warning. That is not the tornado warning there. It's for the far northern reach of that warning that stretches just southwest of Claytonville, also goes into far western parts of Hockley County. I'll send it back to you, John. And also we do have our Julio Iglesias, who is headed up thunderstorm in Hale County. John.
All right. Thanks there, Matt. Appreciate that update. And again, he's watching the Weather Service chat, and I'm trying to keep you up to date here. I would say stay in your safe area or where you can get to it rapidly, but hopefully that was just a short-lived tornado touchdown with this storm system. But you can see the intensity there. This, again, is Julio Iglesias in our unit here, our storm chaser. Photojournalist headed towards Plainview on the interstate to track this storm. As you could see a few minutes ago on Doppler radar, and I'd mentioned it was going northeast, it is now veering a little bit more to the the east, and we'll see whether or not it actually turns more southeast, kind of a typical fashion there. But quite a bit of cloud cover as you might expect. This very intense thunderstorm, a large severe thunderstorm, really moving through Plainview. As we turn to Doppler radar, we can give you a little more of an update then, and also give you some tornado safety tips at this point. Make sure, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, you want to be in the middle of the home, the building. Make sure you have walls around you, as many as you can. So even if you go in the bathroom and you have a window there, you can at least get down in the bathtub, or you can get down on the floor, or get in your closet. That's a good idea to always have a place ready, by the way. Underground's going to be the best place you can get, a basement or a cellar. But second to that, small areas away from windows and not looking outside. Now again, here's the core of Plainview, and there's Highway 70, and here's Interstate 27. So this area, it looks like it's just heavy rain. There might still be some small hail southwest of Plainview, but the large hail indicated in the purple color here, just along Highway 70, back over, looks like on Farm to Market Road 400, and again, North Columbia Street, moving down into the Plainview area. Anywhere in this general area around the large hail, if you live there, make sure you're in your shelter or you remain very close to seeking shelter in case this does drop down a tornado once again. It is moving generally east and northeast along Farm to Market Road 2286. It's headed towards the community of Cereal. If it stays on this track, it might even be a threat to the areas around Lockney. Right now, for folks in Cereal, we want you to just be prepared to seek shelter. Obviously, you have a severe thunderstorm headed your way, storm that could produce anywhere from 1 to 2 inch size hail as it moves into your particular area, and you are under that part of that tornado watch at this time. So for those of you along Farm to Market Road 2301, Highway 70, anywhere in this general area where you find the polygon or where the tornado warning is, and that'll remain in effect until the Weather Service is not so concerned about the storm or feels safe with the fact that they can end that earlier. So it's still a tornado warning for that region. Doesn't necessarily mean there's still a tornado on the ground. It has retreated back up into the cloud, but it could drop back down at any minute. So we have to watch it closely. You don't see but a little bit of an appendage with it, but still indicating some potential rotation. Overall broad area from Ferguson along Highway 400, Farm to Market Road up to Highway 70. Still some very intense rainfall over the center areas of Plainview as well. And again, keep in mind the colors we're watching for, the combination red and green, to see if there's a specific area or where the intensity of that rotation is. And if I was just pointing that, and you can see a little bit of appendage on our term, hook on the radar, literally that's what you watch for, because the overall rotation with the storm in that area, we have some hail preceding that. It looks like the hail intensity may be down a little bit, but that may be several factors involved on that. But your core of hail right south of Plainview, and hopefully that indicates the storm's weakening some. Just because it still has somewhat of an appendage doesn't necessarily mean it'll produce a tornado, but you have to be aware of the fact that it could do that. And the track on this, east-northeast at around 30 miles an hour, and extending to the west, I think we're in good shape. For those of you west, all the way over to halfway. Edmondson, severe thunderstorm warning just east of you, so you guys can relax a little bit. Same thing in Hale Center. The storm will not impact you. It looks like there could be some showers try to form maybe on some boundaries southwest. It hasn't happened yet. And as Matt mentioned, this is a severe thunderstorm here. It is not in the tornado warning. Just earlier, they did have a small part of Swisher County in the tornado warning. That is a severe thunderstorm, and you can obviously see the hail north of Crest and south of Tuya. So the focus really is here. The Weather Service kind of decreased the size of that tornado warning, but it is tracking towards the Cereal community, maybe the Lockney area as well. At this point, Lockney is still fairly east of that, but you're on Farm to Market Road 789, I believe that is, and on Highway 70. That may be where the largest hail is, actually, anywhere from Farm to Market Road 400 and along Highway 70, and then the heavy rain extends over to 789, just to give you some general boundaries. But we still have that broad area of circulation in this area of Plainview and south of Plainview, between there and Ferguson. Further south, again, areas, Hale Center, you don't have to be concerned with that. I think Matt's got a new update for me.
Yeah, and the Weather Service has, we mentioned this warning goes until 5 o'clock. It has, you see how that box kind of changed its shape just a little bit. They continue this tornado warning, so the storm capable of producing a tornado is what you see right on top of Plainview right now. and the tornado warning goes until 5 o'clock. So it's moving right over Plainview now. Eventually we'll get toward Seth Ward as well. So just wanted to give you the update that the warning continues here for about the next 13 minutes, John. And we are still seeing rotation with this thunderstorm as it's moving, like you mentioned, near Ferguson. As far as the different parts of the thunderstorm we'd be concerned with, the greater concern for tornadic development would be on the southern end, so southern edge of the storm, like you pointed out. So if you're in Plainview right now and you're hearing there's plenty of lightning with this thunderstorm as it's moving over the city, at least a decent number of lightning strikes. You have that. You have the hail threat. The greater tornado threat, though, is going to be a few miles just south of Plainview. And again, we do have trained storm spotters on this thunderstorm. They reported it was a brief tornado that was just southwest of town. We are still seeing the rotation south, a few miles south of Plainview, but I want to give you that update that the warning continues. So if you're in that red polygon, that's where you need to be taking shelter. But for Plainview, it's more of the hail and wind threat. And you see the new severe warning that was just posted right there from the National Weather Service. That goes until severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock. And that's still for about 1 1/4 inch diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind for the thunderstorm that's moving right on top of Plainview. Tornadic threat will be on the southern edge of that storm. So again, severe and tornado warnings continue here, John, for Hale County until 5 o'clock.
All right, thanks again, Matt, for that update. Again, you can see that storm as it tracks to the east. And let's expand out. I do want to drop down quickly there, Matt, if we could, and update folks down our southeastern counties. Since there is not a tornado on the ground at this point, there's still a tornado watch for this broad area. And look at the large area under a warning from Crosbyton over towards the Dickens, all the way down to west of Jayton along 380. There may be some very large hail between Post all the way over towards Claremont. Then some very heavy thunderstorms producing heavy rainfall and potential strong winds. No tornado warnings here, but that area is under a tornado watch, and you can see storms maybe trying to develop northwest of Post, but nothing really around Lubbock except an outflow boundary moving back into our city. And we'll have to watch that closely to see. That's probably a portion of that dry line outflow combination moving back. It wouldn't be a surprise to see storms pop up along that boundary. Hasn't happened yet, and you can see it extends all the way up to the north and northeast of Littlefield. So we'll be watching that. That's kind of moving through the city of Lubbock right now. You may notice the wind change, and we may even have some increase in the cloud cover or cumulus clouds as well as that takes place. In fact, a couple of boundaries may be merging together there. It's hard to tell. Maybe that's a dry line and the outflow. So we'll see if anything develops right along Highway 87. This is all thunderstorms, obviously severe, maybe in some cases there may be some large hail, at least 1 inch or larger. That extends covering all of Scurry County and mostly moving up into the western areas of Kent County. Track and building of that storm may bring it into Jayton. Looks like it's more generally a threat to the Claremont area, and still heavy rainfall around Lake Island Henry. There may be some really issues there with winds and tremendous amount of rainfall in that portion of southeastern areas of Garza County. That storm is east of Post, although there is a weakening storm to the northwest of Post. And here's a recent hail trackers, and as it changes colors, indicating the hail size is diminishing some in that region. So it was larger earlier over on 380, but it could get larger once again. And the storms extend all the way up along Highway 70 and 208 as well. And storms not a threat to Canyon Valley, although you are under warning at this point. But I think the general movement's going to take that storm northeast. Nothing around Lubbock. We're in good shape here. Obviously, we'll come back up where the tornado warning is. And there's still a thunderstorm warning up towards Swisher County, but this has been our primary focus, and the storm may be producing a little bit of rain further south of Ferguson, but it should be just a few minutes, and this may be clear of Plainview. It depends on where the broad circulation continues to be. Right now, though, still a tornado warning in effect for about another 10 minutes for Plainview along Highway 70, right over in the western areas, just to the northwest of Lockney. The track of this storm may bring that towards Lockney. It's going generally east. At the last report, as Matt had mentioned there, has been going northeast or east, but it's not uncommon to see a supercell like this turn more southeast as it does with the formation of a tornado, but that hasn't taken place yet. So saying generally an east-northeastward movement. But as I mentioned earlier, for folks in Serial, you need to be prepared to seek shelter if necessary. If you're still areas south and particularly southeast of Plainview, all the way down to maybe the county line there. You want to make sure you remain either close to shelter or just remain in your home. That way you'll be in good shape should the warning be issued or should a tornado develop once again. We are under the tornado watch. There's a good possibility that could happen. Storms obviously will produce a tornado, even a brief one, and it may go a little further down the road there, as you might say, and then develop another one. So reminders, cover up, grab anything small you can get. Don't be trying to move mattresses unless they're small. You don't want to spend time trying to get a big mattress one point to the other. The idea is to get in a safe area with something to cover. Helmets are very good to have. Blankets, pillows, coats, anything to kind of keep the debris off of you is the main thing. But don't forget to take your phone and keep that eye on that KCBD First Alert weather app, because it'll give you up-to-date information as well. And we're taking a quick look here at Julio Iglesias out on Interstate 27, getting closer to that storm. We're obviously quite a distance from it there, but again, we can see nothing dramatic as far as a large tornado or anything, but notice the tower here, a secondary tower there, and then just general cloud cover trailing off from that, feeding into that storm, and it is tracking towards community of Cereal and the east-southeast areas of Hale County, moving over as it does towards that community maybe of Lockney. So still quite a dangerous storm, even if it's not producing a tornado currently, still has that potential for large hail, winds of 60, maybe 70 miles an hour, and we'll keep an eye on that. This is a very intense and a very large thunderstorm. In addition to that, you can expect some very heavy rainfall and maybe those wind gusts of at least 60 or 70 miles an hour from a thunderstorm like this. Movement at least is about 30 miles an hour. It could slow down some of those storms down to our southeast. At one point, we're only moving about 10 miles an hour. That in turn just increases the potential for flooding and such. And as we get a little closer there towards Plainview, we'll be able to give you a better idea of what's going on. And he's getting very close to the city right now and be able to veer off and see what exactly is taking place there. But as Matt had mentioned, there's some excellent storm chasers up there associated with Texas Tech, keeping a close eye on that storm system, and so they'll be keeping us updated, and the county road indicated there. But here's Highway 70 back to Plainview along Interstate 27, winding back towards Ferguson. Just a quick update, Hale Center, you're in the clear. Edmondson, you're in the clear, although you're in Hale County, and a warning. The warning is predominantly for the area around Plainview. It looks like it's just about clear of the city of Plainview, although you're outstretched towards the Seth Ward area. But it is moving off to the east. Still want to emphasize, be ready to seek shelter if necessary in the community of Cereal. And then also down in Lockney, you guys want to remain, if you need to, on the alert. If that storm starts veering your way, you may need to seek shelter. Right now, you may be clipped by just the south or maybe southwestern portion of that storm as it moves through that region. And again, you can see how it's building up in and around. And we showed you a few minutes ago the two strong towers with that particular thunderstorm moving through Hale County, moving east and northeast. And by the way, we got Matt here to give you an update, and then I'll tell you where you can send those photos here in a few minutes.
Yeah, and as far as what this thunderstorm is going to do as it moves farther off to the east, and we've been monitoring our secure line with the Weather Service on our chat, and there have not been any additional tornado reports. Some good news for those of you in Floyd County. Everyone would like some rain. The temperature there in Floydada is 68 right now. In the community of South Plains, it's 64. So this thunderstorm is moving into an environment that does not have quite as much instability as, now I will say when the storm produced a tornado outside of Plainview, the temperature was in the 70s, about 72, 73. It's a lot warmer farther south. So that's where there would be more instability for thunderstorm to produce, have more energy to work with, and really enhance the hail threat as well. This is a thunderstorm you'll need to watch closely in Cereal, in Lockney, and northwestern parts of Floyd County. But at least the environment it's moving into, not as strong of instability, maybe actually north of this frontal boundary. So that may limit the organization just a bit. At the same time, though, the thunderstorm up in Swisher County, it's also in the 60s there, and we do have a severe storm with at least potentially 1-inch diameter hail as it's moving to the north and east. So keep that in mind that these are still storms that you need to take seriously anywhere that you do have the warning in place, but just wanted to lower the concerns for the thunderstorm as it's moving farther east, and this warning will be expiring here in just a few minutes. But that's the update on the thunderstorm as it moves farther east. And the good news is, John, we do not have any additional reports of tornado from this storm. So good news there.
All right, thanks so much there, Matt. Again, you can see that storm, as Matt had just talked about, moving that east-northeastward movement there. I want to mention, if you happen to get any photos, or if you take any photos now, and it's a safe where you can do that, kcbd.com/first alert. And don't forget about our First Alert weather app. I mentioned that. You want to take that with you when, obviously, if you go to a closet, a safe area, if you have to drive around the next couple of hours, have that with you, because you'll get instant information on new warnings or watches that come out. Then you can seek shelter if necessary. But we'd love to see if you have any pictures. Only get those or video if it's a safe situation. We don't want it otherwise. Now, thunderstorm warning from Crosbyton, Dickens, extending back down to the south, as you can see there, and storms are generally moving northeast as well there, and nothing in the way of a tornado warning, but widespread cluster of severe thunderstorms. Biggest threat with these would be winds 60 to 70 miles an hour and potentially some 1 to 2 inch size hail. Same thing with the photos. If you get anything and you can do that safely, we'd love to have you post those photos or load those up. And you can always load them to our Facebook pages in the Forecast Center as well, meaning Matt, myself, and Shania, even Colin and Steve and Adam Young. So you can post those there, but we'd prefer you to use that kcbd.com/first alert. Spur, got a moderate to heavy thunderstorm moving into that community at this point. Down south along Highway 84, moderate to heavy thunderstorms still around Lake Allen Henry. They were talking about some potential flooding in that region. We're talking about low-lying areas, all those farm-to-market roads, and obviously you'll need to stay off of the lake for a while. And as this storm builds up, it's a little close there to White River Lake, so folks, you need to be off of that lake if you aren't already, or if you know someone that's out there, you need to advise them to get off of the lake. Good chance these storms will impact that part of Crosby County. That's why they have warnings in effect. There's the Calgary area, and then you see this storm headed towards Spur and Dickens as well, and back over Caprock and then Rawls and Crosbyton as well. So we can zoom back out a little bit. We'll see if that tornado warning is still in effect. I know we should be able to enter the newscast as soon as that warning goes down, since we haven't had any updated reports on that, and then we'll continue to give you updates on the weather in general. That storm actually looks like it's weakening a little bit. Tornado warning is gone at this point, so it's along Highway 70 approaching Serial, weakening. Still a warning on that, potentially, I would assume, for winds and maybe some large hail, but as it cools down, as Matt mentioned there, the air will stabilize. Weather conditions should be improving, at least in this immediate area. That doesn't necessarily mean the storm's going to weaken as it moves a little further east, but at least for the time being, so you folks in Serial can relax a little bit, and Lockney as well overall, and nothing back towards Plainview. Things have cleared out there. Well, what I just mentioned, yeah. So they're going to continue with that warning all the way up all to near Claytonville and back along 207. So that storm will obviously go through northern areas of Floyd County. And then all the severe thunderstorms that are occurring down in this region. So I think we may be into the newscast now. I can pitch this to Shaylee and Case, and we'll get the updates coming up. If not, I'll just stay with the radar at this point. Okay. You can see those strong thunderstorms in that general area. The one up to the north, still a severe thunderstorm warning on it. And I do want to mention west of Silverton and just east of Tulia, scattered thunderstorms there. Some of those going to produce those winds, especially right here. It looks like to the east-southeast of Tulia along 86. You've got Silverton right here, but this storm probably is not going to impact Silverton. I think that's going to continue tracking east or northeast, it looks like. And I'm going to estimate speeds probably 20 to 30 miles an hour. So again, that is west of Silverton, tracking along Highway 86. Folks in Silverton, you need to be concerned about this storm because the track, as the polygon indicates, would take that storm up towards you along Highway 207. And the core of that is still just northwest of Lockney and then back up around the Serial community. So Lockney, hopefully you get some rainfall out of this, but you may just get gusty winds and the cooler temperatures and the outflow from the storm, the way that storm is tracking, at least at this particular time. But it still doesn't indicate any, but keep in mind, as I mentioned, as it moves on, it may encounter slightly warmer air, may become a little more unstable, and then become severe once again. There's still a warning on that storm. Could impact John Ferris, but you guys in John Ferris not under a warning. primarily along Highway 207. And by the way, keep in mind, some of that area had some heavy rainfall over the last 48 hours. So if you're traveling down in southern Floyd County, northern areas of Crosby County, those farm-to-market roads are still going to be very muddy in that region. We'll jump down. Let's take it by Lubbock, and we'll go and show the broad area once again to show you what's going on with those thunderstorms, Matt, down to our south.
Quick update, John.
Yeah.
Julio actually is driving through Plainview right now, and obviously the good news is we knew that report of the tornado was just southwest of town, and obviously no damage. You just see, well, some wet city streets, exactly what they need there. So things have calmed down a bit. He is headed farther east with that thunderstorm on US 70 out east, but a live look from Plainview shows things are calming down quite a bit in Plainview, and we can give you the all clear for the moment in Plainview. As far as the warning is concerned, you still are under a tornado watch, but always want to be able to give that all clear. You can see how things are quite a bit calmer there in Plainview now than they were over the past 45 minutes.
All right, thanks, Matt. Sure appreciate that update and appreciate Julio going into that storm. And he's probably going to follow the path of that storm, at least for a little ways, to see what takes place there as he moves on through Plainview. So we're glad to see that rain, as Matt had mentioned, and things are calming down just a little bit going into the evening hours. As far as the Doppler, we can go back to that and show you again. Warning still in effect between Plainview and Cereal, further north up towards north of Claytonville and back to Lockton. Nothing around Lubbock yet. That one outflow boundary, dry line combination is kind of drifting back to the west. That may stabilize us, or it may result in some new development west of us. We'll simply wait and see. Reaching all the way up just northeast of Littlefield. We zoom in some there, and we'll show you the storms that are strong. And notice how these have kind of built back immediately here west and southwest of Post. So still a warning in effect, a large thunderstorm warning as far as coverage through most of Crosby County, extending over to Dickens County, down into Kent County, all the way down. And don't want to forget Snyder. I know you've got some strong storms down there, but they're not severe at this point, fortunately. Same thing down in Gale, some strong thunderstorms moving through that community. Nothing significant with that, although there may be a little bit of hail. Looks like about to enter that warning area of Garza County. And notice these boundaries kind of merging here, but I haven't seen any new development yet as that boundary just kind of drifts back to the west, aided by the outflow from these storms in general. And heavy rainfall here will cause some flooding, I would think, along Highway 84, especially between Post, Justisburg, and Lake Allen Henry, and even on down to Snyder, due to the fact they've had some rain there the last couple of days. And obviously very heavy rain has occurred here during the last hour or so. Some pockets may indicate briefly some hail. You can see some earlier with this storm as it's racing off to the northeast, likely at about 30 miles an hour. That one moving up into Dickens County may impact the communities of Spur and Dickens, and it still looks like Jayton for the time being until this activity approaches that community. You guys in Jayton are in good shape as far as overall storm threat at this particular time. So most of our concentration down in this region, nothing around Lubbock, but a reminder again, we could pop up the tornado watch there, I guess, Matt, and show everybody. Generally along the interstate off to the east is where that tornado watch is currently in effect, and it does reach back as far about as Brownfield to Littlefield. And as this boundary moves back to the west, that may continue that potential at least for several more hours. It's in effect till 10 o'clock tonight potentially, but for the most part, the way these storms are fired up and the way they're tracking, they may be out of here for most of our region by 9 o'clock, if not sooner. But most of this area continues to be under tornado watch. And if you're traveling this evening, you'll find that watch reaches all the way over to Haskell and all the way down to Abilene, but nothing in the way of severe weather occurring in those communities. Most of it is just from Post, Claremont, back up around Crosbyton, the Mount Rawls area, all the way over and west of Guthrie, and then nothing in Motley County at this point, but Matador, obviously in Motley County, under a thunderstorm, or pardon me, a tornado watch, but no severe thunderstorms there. We still have a severe thunderstorm northeast of Plainview and another one west of Silverton. Track on those is generally northeast. And notice the boundary right here, all the way down through Lamb County and Lubbock County, all the way down into Dawson County, and that outflow boundary working its way back to the west. Western areas, you guys are really in good shape at this point. And tomorrow, I'll mention, it'll be this same general area from the south and southwestern South Plains, and then extend east where we may have some severe weather. So I'm going to turn it now, I believe, to Shaylee and Case. They'll bring you up to date on news, and I'll get some forecast graphics for the weekend coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Sean. Like you